Hi, Libra Sun and Rising. Welcome to your December 2022 Astro Update. It's Rena here. Oh my goodness. I think this is like the fourth or fifth time I've tried to start this, and I've had to scrap former versions. I erased one of them. Sometimes it happens with a particular sign where no matter what you do, you have to do it so many times before it works. So in December, there's a lot of energy in the home sector for you, and that may also include the mother. Of course, this is the holiday season, so that's not unusual to be spending time with family, but for some reason, there's even more importance in that for Libra, Sun and Rising sign people. On the 3rd of the month, Neptune turns direct at 22 degrees of Pisces in the 6th house of work. If you've had any kind of deception with coworkers or some kind of unclear things going on, you're going to move on because there was a retrograde here for several months in with Neptune, and that might have been disillusionment. You may have seen things more clearly, but didn't like what you saw. And that could just be the reality of the situation. Maybe a coworker deceived you in some way, and you haven't wanted to face that because it just feels really disillusioning. And yet, you're able now to move ahead and also heal from any kind of things that were said behind your back or tried to keep you from your full success. But this may have nothing to do with that. It may have something more to do with perhaps you have had to get clear about what you really want to do as offering service to others, which is the 6th house. Because perhaps you were overly idealistic about how a particular profession was going to be, and you found out the hard way. Sometimes this happens when somebody leaves college and they get their first job and they're like, oh, wow, this isn't what I signed up for. And that's, if somebody discovers that very early on, that's actually a good thing because it means that they're not going to, for the rest of their life, accommodate something that they really don't feel good about. So that's probably just a matter of time before they leave. Well, it's also good to have that sense of understanding if somebody's been deceiving you like a coworker, pretending to be your best friend, and really they're kind of, maybe they're a spy for the boss or something, because they want to get in good with the boss too. And so that may have been revealed, but now you're able to be more idealistic again at work. On the 6th, Mercury goes into Capricorn, so that 4th house of home and family. If you are buying or selling a house, this could be some kind of legal document that you are obtaining or perusing. You could be talking to your mother more. Again, this is the holidays, so that's hardly, bizarre, unusual, but for you, it might be quite significant. It can also be thinking about your child, and certainly if we go to these gatherings, at Christmas time, they can bring up old memories, and that would fall into the Mercury category, that make you think about things from the past. On the 7th, we have full moon at 16 degrees of Gemini, and I think that Mars retrograde is forming conjunction with that, so there may be some need to break from the past. And this is actually going to fall in your ninth house, Gemini is a fellow air sign, so it forms a trine to you from the ninth house, and it could be connected to the way that you view life. Not too deep, huh? Your life philosophy, because that can be the ninth house, where you are having some kind of aha moment about what it is that you believe life represents and how you have kind of like made choices maybe based on somebody else's definition. And Mars retrograding here makes you crossing over old territory for some reason. It doesn't have to be literally that you're doing your college classes again, but there might be something along that you're trying to graduate and you do have to make up some kind of a course, or you forgot to do an assignment, or who knows. But even like more that it deals with exploration of God, Mars retrograde, or yoga or something like that, if you're teaching yoga, and for some reason you can't move forward in that. It might be that there are restrictions temporarily that are preventing you from accomplishing some of those goals. And when Mars goes retrograde, we all may be feeling frustrated and kind of like thwarted from what we really want to do, because if you have any friends that are the opposite sign of you, Libra, that are Aries, you know how impatient they can be, and it can make all of us like that in some way. On the ninth, Venus goes into that fourth house. Venus can bring harmony to or restore it, in your relationship with family members, especially the mother. But there can be money coming from the mother, perhaps, and or from a house, some kind of house sales or what have you. Maybe you now have the funds to buy a house. On the 20th, Jupiter goes back into Aries. So Jupiter goes back into that seventh house, and that can favor any kind of legal affairs, but also committed partnerships. So if you're single and looking, Jupiter in the seventh house can mean that there are multiple opportunities to meet people. Now, of course, that person has to put themselves out there. There's no question of that. But I love how this might even be good for meeting the partner of your dreams, not necessarily getting married to them right away, but at the very least you are, with that, you're being exposed to people who might possibly one day be your life partner. On the 20th, on the 21st, we have the winter solstice, and that's when the sun goes into Capricorn, so the sun is in your fourth house. Now you really have a lot of energy in the fourth. And that can mean that you are really spending your time thinking and dealing with home matters, but there could be a positive element to this, that you're enjoying doing it. The very next, or not the very next day, but 2 days later, we have a new moon at 1 degree of Capricorn, so that could even indicate a new home. But some kind of, maybe Venus in the fourth is decoration of the home, or painting it, gussying it up in some way, and so it feels like a whole new environment. On the 29th, we have a Mercury retrograde. Actually, come to think of it, that new moon at 1 degree of Capricorn, That will probably really be more of a third house thing because it's only at 1 degree. So it may favor more of new beginnings as it pertains to social media, education, your mind itself can be the third house. How you think about life. And then on the 29th, for sure, for most of you, this Mercury retrograde at 24 degrees of Capricorn will be in that fourth house of home and family. And that can, if you are trying to sell a home, Mercury could be the paperwork and there might be some snafus there. It might not be as easy to make it happen, and maybe there is some confusion. Mercury retrograde could have you rethinking buying or selling a home. Perhaps you say, hey, I thought I was tired of this property, but really once I painted it, it looks like a whole new place. And then you don't feel like you have to actually do something with it. Just remember that Mercury is a 3.5 week cycle, so even the retrograde, even if something does get screwed up, you can rectify it. And if you're listening to this before the actual date, you can really, if you are planning to move, if that part resonates for you, just really, pay attention to paperwork big time. And you can defy Mercury retrograde. Okay, that's what I have for you, Libra. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, I'm promoting my double readings, which are a discounted price for, I saw these readings as standalone readings, and you can save, I think, at least $25, if I'm not mistaken. But one of them is called, well, it's called a deep dive reading, but one of them is a natal chart interpretation for an hour, and the other one is looking at the transits through December 2023 that are coming up, and some that I deem important. And you can find out more information about all my readings at the link below. Thank you for listening. Take care. Bye.